What's up, guys? It's time for another video on the Nike Waffle trainer. And you'll recall that just last week, we had a look at this pair of early vintage Waffle trainers, along with 3 other pairs of vintage Nike Waffles that I picked up on eBay. And we were breaking down Nike's earliest innovation of all, which is the Waffle sole. Have a look right there and you can see that the US patent number for the Waffle soles is on the bottom of the shoe. It's 3793750. When we were looking at these shoes last week, we determined that they're an early edition of the UCLA Bruins Waffle trainer, mainly because the logo right there on the tag on the tongue is written in lowercase cursive letters. Later editions of this same shoe would feature Nike written on the tongue in bold capital letters. I want to show you a later model of the Waffle trainer that I also picked up on eBay. They're right here and they're brand new in their original box. And then I also want to show you a pair of shoes that I haven't even opened the box yet. I received these from somebody in Oklahoma City who found these shoes in the Goodwill bins. So let's get into it. Wait till you see these 2 pairs of Waffle trainers. So let's have a look at the box right here. Original box from the 70s, and here's what it says on there. Nike sports shoes are manufactured to the exact specifications of champion athletes throughout the world. Continued research and constant development are responsible for athletes of the 70s changing to Nike. And let's get in here and have a look. Boom. Another pair of Waffle trainers. This pair is brand new, never even tried on. Have a look in the box right there. The box even comes with the cardboard divider as well as the original paper in there. That's 40 years old. Just crazy. All right, and let's break out the shoes and set them alongside the earlier edition of the UCLA Bruins Waffle trainers. To help us identify when these shoes came out, we're going to use Nike Chronicle Deluxe right here, and I have the page of the Waffle trainer marked right here with a vintage ad that was cut out from an old magazine. Move the ad out of the way and then get back in to Chronicle Deluxe. So the earlier pair right here with Nike in lowercase cursive is going to be this pair right here. You can see right there is Nike in lowercase cursive. And when you compare it with the 2 other models of the UCLA Bruins colors, you can see Nike's written right up here in bold capital letters, and then right over there also in bold capital letters. The brand new pair that we're looking at is this pair right here. Have a look at the back right here, and you can see that there's not a seam on it. When you look at the middle edition right here, if you look really closely right there at the back, you can see that there's a seam. So that's one way to help identify that the shoe that we're about to look at is this one and not this one. That being said, let's look at the information right here. Waffle trainer from 79 to 81, 2236 is going to be the product code, and the shoes retailed for $29.95. This Chronicle Deluxe book, I can't say enough good things about it. It's just an incredible reference tool for these really old, early Nikes. There's no other book that I know of that really breaks down all the information like Chronicle Deluxe does. Let's compare this one side by side with the earlier one. The earlier one's on top, the later one's on the bottom. Have a look at the difference in the swooshes. You can see that the swoosh on the earlier model is much fatter. Some people call it the fat belly swoosh compared to the swoosh down here on the bottom, which still looks fatter than present day swooshes. Remember, I was pointing out that the back of these shoes does not have that little seam right here, and that's one way that we know that it's the later model from 1979 to 1981. So that means these shoes are somewhere in the neighborhood of 38 to 40 years old, and they're brand new. Look at those beautiful Waffle soles. There's that patent number on there, 3793750. And let's make sure to look at the logo on the tongue right there. Bold capital Nike. Something that I love about these early vintage shoes is the foam on the tongues, especially when it's intact like it is on this pair. Sometimes the foam deteriorates and crumbles, but you can see not on this pair. Just pristine. All right, so there we have the earlier and the later edition of the Waffle trainers. I want to go back into Chronicle Deluxe, back to the Waffle trainer. And so here's the page that we've been looking at with the UCLA Bruins colors. And you'll notice that when we go earlier, like this one says mid-70s, we've got a navy blue pair. And then even earlier is a red and white pair, and then a blue and white pair. And the blue and white is dated 74 to 75, and the later one is 75 to 76. Something else to notice about the difference between the early ones and then this early one, notice that the toe is just one piece, whereas later on models have this piece of suede that's sewn on there up at the front. So the early one over here has nothing at the front, and then the red one over here has this piece on the toe. And when we look at all the blue and yellow ones, they all have that extra piece on the toe right there for support. See that? You can especially see it in this model because it's a lighter color than the rest of the blue upper. All right, so time for the unboxing from the Goodwill bin in Oklahoma City. Somebody sent me a DM on Instagram, said that they read about me and my collection and that I love Nike waffles. And they told me that they were digging through the bins at Goodwill, which means that when you go digging in the bins at Goodwill, the items are not priced individually. They're priced by weight. So you can like pile up a bunch of pounds of shoes or clothes or whatever, and Goodwill sells them to you by the weight of the items. So the lady that found these shoes got a remarkable deal on them, and wait till you see what's in here. I'm very excited to check them out for myself. Whoa. Boom. Look at this. It's another pair of Waffle trainers. These ones are red and white, as you can see. They don't have that extra piece up here at the toe for reinforcement. Of course, the logo on the tongue is going to be the lowercase cursive Nike logo. Man, these shoes are amazing. These ones are so early. They don't even have 3793750 written on the Waffle soles. And they're in great shape. Look at how cool it is where the stitching kind of goes awry right there. You can tell that these shoes were not mass manufactured the same way that Nike shoes are today, with imperfections like what you see on the stitching on the swoosh. Let's have a look at this other shoe. So cool. So this is very similar to that navy blue pair with the white swooshes that we were just looking at in Chronicle Deluxe, except this is the red and white color. Original laces. Originally, when the Waffle Trainer came out, it was called Waffle Training. And that's what this shoe would have been called. But then Nike changed the name to Waffle Trainer because it was a catchier name and they thought it would help them sell more shoes. So it would only be appropriate for us to move everything over a little bit so we can put everything in its proper chronological order. So the red and white pair definitely predates the blue and yellow ones. Wow. Wow. Let's get back into Chronicle Deluxe just to have a look now that we have the shoes out. So look, here's the red and white one. But remember that it's got that extra piece up there at the toe box. And then over here is the blue and white one from 74 to 75. And it doesn't have that piece. And interestingly, as you look closely at the Waffle sole here, you'll see the patent number is on this one, 3793750. But remember, it's not on this one. And looking closely at the red and white pair featured in the book, you can't really see it, but it is written on there. So, wow, it's just crazy cool to have this super early pair that doesn't even have the patent number written on the soles. There's one more book that I want to show you, and it's another great reference tool for these early Nikes. It's called Blue Ribbons, and this book is made up by one collector, and it's their entire collection of vintage Nikes that they ended up selling to Nike. And have a look when we flip open to the Waffle Training. Remember I said initially it was called Waffle Training before the name was changed to Waffle Trainer. And you can see that the pair featured in this book is just like the pair that we just unboxed from the Goodwill. They are red and white with a lowercase Nike cursive logo, and have a look at the waffle nubs on the sole right here. They're like really wide, and it doesn't appear to say the patent number on here. And then when we go back to these shoes, again, red and white, no reinforcement at the toe, lowercase cursive logo, and then these really wide waffle nubs with no mention of the patent number on there. Can you believe that these shoes came from Goodwill? And somebody had the wherewithal to dig them up and reach out to me on Instagram, and we made a deal. And now here they are, a vintage pair of Nike Waffle training shoes to go along with 2 pairs of vintage Nike Waffle trainers in the UCLA Bruins colors. I hope you enjoyed this video.